Just when fans thought they'd heard every Johnny Depp story, an old, painfully awkward confession has resurfaced, and it's blowing up the internet. Emotions ran high as fans connected the dots, dug up forgotten interviews, and asked one burning question: why is this moment coming back to haunt him now? The moment fans started digging, the tone online shifted from playful nostalgia to full-blown disbelief. Old magazine scans resurfaced. A long-forgotten late-night interview clip began circulating on X and TikTok. In it, a much younger Johnny Depp laughed nervously, rubbed the back of his neck, and admitted to a story that, at the time, was brushed off as quirky and awkward. But now, fans are shocked all over again. Back then, Johnny had been the weird artsy guy from Kentucky, not yet the global heartthrob, not yet Captain Jack Sparrow. He told the story casually, almost defensively, like someone trying to beat the embarrassment before it beat him. It wasn't romantic, he'd said, half smiling. It was confusing. The audience laughed, the host laughed, the moment passed. But watching it now, fans swear there was something darker under the humor. One viral comment read, "Why does he look uncomfortable even telling it as a joke?" Another said, "This hits different after everything we know now." According to the resurfaced story, Johnny claimed he lost his virginity in a situation that wasn't planned, wasn't tender, and definitely wasn't the Hollywood fantasy fans expected. He described being young, insecure, and desperate to feel accepted. "I didn't even know if I was ready," he allegedly admitted. "I just didn't want to feel left behind." That single line set the internet on fire. Fans began debating whether the confession was just awkward honesty or something more troubling that had been ignored for decades. Emotions ran high as comment sections turned into battlegrounds. Some defended him fiercely, others accused the industry of normalizing uncomfortable experiences for young actors. And a third group asked the question no one wanted to say out loud: was Johnny pressured? Former classmates were suddenly dragged into the conversation. Old acquaintances, some real and some rumored, were named in speculative threads. One alleged friend, quoted anonymously in a gossip blog, claimed, "Johnny always tried to laugh things off. That was his defense mechanism." Meanwhile, Depp's longtime fans were divided. One fan wrote, "This doesn't change how I see him." Another responded, "It actually explains a lot." As the story gained traction, insiders claimed Johnny himself was blindsided by the renewed attention. A supposed source close to him said, he thought that chapter was closed. He never imagined it would come back like this. According to the same source, the resurfacing reopened old emotional wounds Johnny had spent years trying to bury. Then came the first twist. A former interviewer hinted that parts of the confession had been edited out back in the day. There was more to it, the interviewer teased in a recent podcast. What aired was the cleaned-up version. That revelation sent fans into a frenzy. What was cut? Why was it cut? And who decided it was better left unsaid? Suddenly, this wasn't just about an awkward teenage story anymore. It was about image control, Hollywood silence, and the cost of growing up in the spotlight. The narrative shifted from gossip to something heavier and far more uncomfortable. And just when fans thought the story couldn't get any messier, another voice entered the conversation, claiming they were there when it happened. According to this mysterious source, who insisted on remaining anonymous, the infamous night was filled with tension, confusion, and unexpected interruptions. "It wasn't at all like he described later," the source said, voice trembling with recollection. "There were people around, whispers, and it was awkward for everyone involved." Johnny froze, completely unsure what to do next. You can see the panic in his eyes. This claim immediately sent social media into overdrive. Fans dissected every word, every expression from Johnny's old interview, and every tiny detail from the resurfaced footage. Forums were flooded with theories. Some argued it was a classic coming-of-age disaster, a moment every awkward teen could relate to. Others were more cynical, insisting that the incident was proof of the toxic pressures young actors face in Hollywood. Meanwhile, Depp enthusiasts dug even deeper. They combed through interviews, old magazine features, and behind-the-scenes footage, desperate to find context. One particularly popular fan thread compiled clips of Johnny laughing nervously, avoiding eye contact, and shifting uncomfortably whenever intimacy was mentioned. "It's like he's haunted by it," wrote one fan, drawing thousands of likes. "You can see it in every tiny gesture." But the plot thickened when a former co-star from his early acting days chimed in. Speaking on condition of anonymity, they claimed, Johnny was always very private about that part of his life. But that night, let's just say it wasn't just awkward. He was humiliated, completely, and unfortunately, a lot of people took advantage of that vulnerability, whether he realized it or not. Fans were left divided. Some sympathized, sending messages of support. "We've all had embarrassing first experiences. Leave him alone." Others couldn't resist spinning the tale into lurid speculation. Memes, reaction videos, and dramatic retellings began circulating across TikTok, X, and Instagram. The internet never sleeps, and this story was proving it. Then came the second twist. A tabloid claimed they had obtained an old diary entry, allegedly written by Depp during the time of the incident. According to their reporting, the diary included lines like, "I don't know who I am supposed to be tonight. I feel like a fraud. Everyone is watching." The post went viral instantly. Some fans hailed it as proof of the real emotional toll, while others questioned its authenticity. "It's either genius storytelling or someone's clever fabrication," wrote one skeptical Reddit user. The diary entry, real or not, became the focal point for debates about celebrity vulnerability. Discussions about personal boundaries, fame, and the pressure to perform sexually at a young age dominated comment sections. Johnny Depp, intentionally or not, became a symbol of everyone's awkward, messy, formative years, but now under the glare of millions of strangers. Meanwhile, the story took an even stranger turn when a supposed family insider leaked that Depp's older brother had been involved in the conversation that night. According to the leak, emotions ran high in the family. There was tension, the insider said, disappointment, confusion, and a lot of unspoken words. The family was left divided. Social media exploded again, with fans speculating how much Johnny's private life had affected his family dynamics. As the story snowballed, the original interview host appeared in a recent podcast to defend Depp. "We laughed, sure," the host recalled, "but it was never meant to embarrass him. Johnny has always had this charm, this vulnerability that people either love or completely misinterpret. That's just Johnny." Fans, however, weren't satisfied. Conspiracy theories began to emerge, claiming the resurfacing was a deliberate PR move ahead of Depp's upcoming projects. "It's classic Hollywood manipulation," one theory read, "make people pity or root for him just before he drops a new movie. It's calculated." Whether true or not, the speculation kept the story alive for weeks. And just when the drama seemed endless, another twist hit. A fellow actor claimed that Depp had confided in them personally years ago about the incident, but in a way no one had heard before. "He said it was messy," the actor revealed. "He said he laughed, but inside he felt completely exposed." That vulnerability stayed with him for a long time. Fans were shocked yet again. The internet reacted with a mix of empathy and curiosity. Some praised Johnny's honesty, saying it humanized him. Others couldn't stop debating what really happened behind the scenes. The comment sections became echo chambers of speculation, nostalgia, and moral judgment all at once. And just when it seemed the story had reached its peak, an old publicist spoke out. Johnny was terrified of judgment, the publicist admitted. He laughed off awkwardness, but it affected him. Every paparazzi photo, every interview, he remembered that night. And now, seeing it brought back, he's probably feeling every bit of that embarrassment again. The internet erupted once more, with fans comparing this resurfaced confession to other iconic celebrity, awkward moments, and debating whether Johnny Depp's handling of fame had made him stronger or more vulnerable. Emojis flooded threads, reaction videos went viral, and even mainstream news outlets jumped in to cover the viral resurgence. Then came an unexpected emotional moment. A fan made videos stitched together clips of Depp laughing nervously in interviews with captions like, "We've all been there," paired with emotional music. The video racked up millions of views, reminding fans that celebrity awkwardness can be strangely relatable. Emotions ran high, with some fans shedding tears and others shouting in disbelief at just how human their favorite star really was. But the twists weren't over. A comedy podcast suggested that the entire narrative was misinterpreted all along. "People forget," the host said, "Johnny was telling the story as self-deprecating humor. The tragedy is in our obsession with dissecting every word. He might have been laughing at himself more than anything else." Fans were torn again. Some defended this interpretation, saying, "Maybe we took it too seriously." Others argued, "It's still shocking, either way." The emotional roller coaster of reactions kept building. Tweets, TikToks, memes, and comment threads spiraled into chaos. And in a final, almost cinematic twist, a new interview surfaced where Johnny, decades later, addressed the story indirectly. "You remember those moments you'd rather forget?" he said, smiling wryly. "Yeah, sometimes the world won't let you." Fans went wild. Every word was analyzed, every pause, every smile became evidence. The story had come full circle, but left more questions than answers. The narrative of Johnny Depp's most awkward confession had become a modern legend. Fans were nostalgic, shocked, empathetic, and endlessly curious. And as clips, comments, and conspiracy theories kept circulating, the story solidified into pop culture lore, forever remembered, endlessly discussed, and hauntingly relatable. The saga even inspired reaction videos, fan theories, and late-night comedy sketches. People debated whether it was a cautionary tale, a humanizing moment, or just another viral distraction. No matter the interpretation, one thing was clear: Johnny Depp had unwittingly given the world a story that would never die. Some longtime fans even dug deeper, claiming that the resurfaced confession revealed more about Hollywood itself than about Johnny. "It's a peek behind the curtain," one fan wrote, about how young stars are thrust into adult situations, how awkward vulnerability is exploited, and how the public consumes it all. Meanwhile, newer fans discovered the story for the first time and were astounded. "I had no idea," one tweeted. "This changes everything I thought I knew about him." Others speculated endlessly. What else had been hidden? What had Johnny endured silently? The internet's curiosity knew no bounds. And as the weeks passed, discussions grew more philosophical. Comment sections explored the meaning of vulnerability, the public's obsession with celebrity missteps, and the morality of judging someone for a moment from decades ago. Johnny Depp, intentionally or not, had sparked a debate about empathy, memory, and fame. Then, a final, dramatic revelation surfaced. A leaked, supposedly private note from Johnny to a friend mentioned that the awkward night felt like it defined me, but didn't really. Fans dissected the wording endlessly. Some interpreted it as a defiant reclaiming of narrative, others as lingering embarrassment. The intrigue and the drama was far from over. By now, the story had reached legendary status, a blend of nostalgia, celebrity vulnerability, awkward teenage mistakes, and public obsession. It had everything: humor, embarrassment, human emotion, and endless speculation. Fans couldn't stop talking, sharing, and theorizing. Social media hashtags began trending. Hashtag Johnny Confession, hashtag Awkward Depp, hashtag Haunted by Youth. Fan edits, reaction videos, and commentary channels exploded. The story had transcended the original interview, it had become a cultural moment. Even celebrities weighed in. Some joked, others offered empathy, and a few younger stars expressed relief that someone of Johnny Depp's stature had gone through the same confusing experiences they were facing. The conversation had grown beyond gossip, it had become a shared human narrative. As the debate raged on, clips from old interviews were replayed endlessly, each laugh, smirk, and pause analyzed as if decoding a secret language. Fans were obsessed with unraveling the truth, whether or not it even existed. The story had grown beyond Johnny himself. It belonged to everyone who had watched, remembered, and speculated. And yet, despite all the attention, one truth remained: no one could ever fully know the details of that awkward night. The mix of fact, memory, rumor, and interpretation created a story that was both haunting and fascinating, an everlasting spectacle of celebrity, vulnerability, and public obsession. Even today, the confession continues to spark conversation. Fans create art, memes, and commentary. Podcasts analyze it, reaction channels compile it, and somewhere in the back of everyone's mind, there's a shared feeling. That awkward, human moment, Johnny Depp's most awkward confession, resonates far more than anyone could have imagined. The story has become immortalized in internet culture, a bizarre blend of nostalgia, shock, and empathy. And as new fans discover the tale, the cycle begins again: questions, theories, emotions, debates, all swirling around one unforgettable moment that refuses to be forgotten. The drama, the emotion, the awkwardness, it's all still very much alive. And fans can't get enough. And there you have it, Johnny Depp's most awkward confession, a story that's shocked fans, divided opinions, and resurfaced decades later to haunt him once again. What do you think really happened that night? Was it just youthful awkwardness or something more? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button if you're stunned, and don't forget to subscribe for more shocking celebrity stories that you won't hear anywhere else.